All right, after nearly 2 hours, Diddy's court hearing is over. This hearing was yet another attempt from his lawyers to get him released on bail. They offered up a multi-million-dollar package, about $50 million. His kids' passports, his mother's passport, his passport, no cell phone, no internet, round-the-clock surveillance, logs of all his visitors, only visiting by his attorneys, etc., etc., etc. The prosecutors and the defense made a lot of arguments today. His main attorney, Marky Mark Agnifilo, disputed prosecutors' assertions that Diddy would be a danger to society if released on bail. In fact, Mark had the audacity to say, quote, "There's a 0% chance of that happening, that he would behave violently." He also said that as presented to the judge, the Cassie security camera footage did not paint a picture of Diddy as somebody violent. Instead, he said in court today, quote, "It's our defense to these charges that this was a toxic, loving 11-year relationship." Prosecutor Christine Slavic said that Diddy tried to bribe hotel staff to delete the surveillance footage, demonstrating that he was committed to concealing his crimes by illegal means. Additionally, she reminded the judge that behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center, Diddy had communicated with his lawyers through unauthorized channels and sought to run a social media campaign to sway potential jurors. Quote, "The defendant here has demonstrated that either he cannot or will not follow the rules. The defendant, simply put, cannot be trusted." And I agree. But it's not what we think, it's what the judge thinks. At today's hearing, all of Diddy's children were there, accompanied by Grandma, his mother. When he saw them in court, he smiled and blew kisses to them. I did bring up this one point myself previously in a prior video and on my podcast. Diddy's lawyers questioned why jail was needed when federal prosecutors in Brooklyn last month allowed the pre-trial release on a $10 million bond of former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries, who is facing similar charges. Mike Jeffries has pleaded not guilty to trafficking. The feds countered that Jeffries is 80 years old with no prior criminal history, whereas Diddy has prior arrests and is not 80 years old. So he's a propensity to flight, be a risk of fleeing, and has proven himself prior to this moment in time to break the law. Additionally, the feds smartly reminded the judge that in his possession at his homes, several rifles with defaced serial numbers were taken in by authorities when his homes were raided. So not only was Diddy in possession of weapons, but weapons that were obtained illegally. They have made a very strong case, I think. But unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for a determination from the judge. Diddy has been sent back to the Metropolitan Detention Center where he's been locked up for 10 weeks, and U.S. District Judge Arun Subramanian said today that he would rule on Diddy's bid for home detention promptly. No word on when promptly would mean or be, Monday, Tuesday, the week after Thanksgiving. I'm sure this judge has a lot to go through and consider thoroughly. But for now, not a victory for Diddy. He is heading back to detainment, although he might be released. We have to wait and see for the ruling from the judge promptly. Thoughts? Let me know in the comments section.